folks. Hi, I hope you all are doing great and keeping safe. So, me and Shubham are back with another podcast. Hey, Shubham. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Tisha, I'm good. What about you?
Doing good, bro. Doing good. So, bro, you have recently watched the movie, the most talked about movie of the town, the Kashmir Files. So, कैसी लगी movie, bro, आपको? And what the movie is all about? इतना जो hype है, किसका hype है वो? And what the movie is all about? किस बारे में बात हो रही है movie में?
Actually, the first thing, before coming, on this, I just want to tell you, we cannot say a movie, to this because there's something, a fact, a history, which a lot of people who was unaware of this fact or history, we can say, right? As an Indian, this 30 years backstory, okay, of the Kashmiri Pandits who was, got distorted, extorted from their own homes, right? कि जहाँ पे उनके घर जलाए गए, जहाँ पे लाइक कि कोई भी सिचुएशन हो रही है, उनकी किलिंग हो रही है और चीजें मतलब काफी काफी मतलब चीजें जो कहते हैं ना, इट्स ऑल अबाउट द हिस्ट्री और फैक्ट. So that is the whole thing. So that's the thing which reveals in the movie, because in this movie there is no any hero, there's no any heroine, there's no any kind of romantic scene. It's all about the fact, it's all about the history that that most of our Indians don't know what was the thing in Kashmir, what happened in Kashmir in the late 90s, right? So that is the whole thing, Atisha. And even before watching the movie, I also thought like what exactly the thing in this, in Kashmir Files. But when I went to watch this Kashmir Files, so I got to know, I also it really touched my emotions, right? So there is a lot of YouTube channels, there are a lot of medias, and there are a lot of other people are also, some are conflicting the things. They are saying that this is called the propaganda, but I tell you, this is not a propaganda, right? This is the truth. If you check the history also, so you'll find the whole thing, right? So so the movie is all about like we all need to go, we all need to watch, we all need to understand what was exactly the story, right? What was the truth there, right? So that it's all about like we can learn that we can forgive but not forget. That is what my that is what my whole point of this Kashmir Files. You should watch, and you should we can forgive, but we should never forget this kind of history which happened. So if I talk about in general things, right? Okay, so like mm, कि क्या situation थी, क्या नहीं थी. I also talk few of my friends as well, those who lives in Jammu, and they were their ancestor were Kashmiri Pandit, right? So I talked to them after watching this movie. So even I did some kind of research as well on YouTube. I listen a lot of podcasts. I did a lot of other things, because that really touched my heart. Even when I was also get emotional, right? So like when we are seeing and when we are watching the review of this movie, so you know it is showing like people are getting emotional, they are crying. But to be very honest, that is not a propaganda, Atisha. That is the real fact. If you also watch this movie, so you also at one time, at one moment, you also get some kind of emotion for those people who has faced those situations, right? Today आज हमारा सच कुछ different है. We are living in 2022, right? We are living in a good condition, we are living in a majority, right? चीज़ें हमारे लिए बहुत easy हैं. Governments are there, police officers are there, a lot of things are in very normal situation, right? But एक वो भी सच है जो 1990s के time पे था, when there is government, when there is a police officer who was not doing anything, right? When there is mass killing of Kashmiri Pandits were going on, like people were killing on the roads, right? There is so a lot of things was going on, right? So it all I just discussed with my friends, so they were telling me it all started in 1986, right? So the things have started in 1986 in the Kashmir, the main part of South Kashmir, okay? So वहाँ पे situation ये थी कि like if if suppose like we have a match with India and Pakistan, match is going on, right? So in that case, if India was the match. So, again, the people start, targeting the Hindus minority, right? They have started killing. So those people start, facing the consequences of that. That is one thing, right? If there was an attack of Jerusalem masjid, right? So again, the same thing, the same consequences that the people who lives in Kashmir needs to face, especially the Hindus, right? So this was the situation which started in 1986, and then situation getting worse and worse, and the whole the whole drama start, and the whole picture is all about the year 1990. In the year 1990, 19th January, right? 19th January 1990. So when when from whole masjid, there's one slogan going on. There's one slogan which people was on loudspeaker, they are saying Raliv Galiv Ya Chaliv, right?
What does it mean,
Raliv.
bro?
So it means like, if you need to convert, die, or run. That's what
Oh,
exactly the meaning of this: convert,
a
die,
lot
or
of
run.
shit going on. मतलब उस time पे I can hardly imagine.
Exactly.
मतलब lot of negativity, lot of bad things happening that time. So bro, why do you think there's a lot of controversy around this movie? क्यों इतनी controversy है मीडिया में हर जगह पे
About what, Atish? Like, you are
about
talking
this
about
movie?
right now
About the
about
movie,
this
about the movie.
about the
Yeah.
movie. It's all about, because this is something which Vivek Agnihotri. I need to we all need to salute this gentleman, the director of this movie. Okay, and people start there are a lot of people who start even abusing him, saying that he wants to be a part of politics, that's why he just came up with this thing. So that is not the whole point, right? The whole controversy is all about, there is someone who took some kind of guts to bring some kind of truth to all the Indian peoples, right? That is something we were not aware, right? There was killing of army officer were going on, Atisha. There were killing of openly killing of judge was going on. Can you imagine? You live in a country in India where you are free. Kashmir is an integral part of India, right? At that time as well, and where you have to become like a refugee. You have to run. Your आपके घर जलाए जा रहे हैं, आपको मारा जा रहा है, आप पे ऑल काइंड ऑफ अत्याचार, हम कह सकते हैं कि हर चीज से आपको मतलब बिल्कुल घर जलाया जा रहा है, आपको भगाया जा रहा है, आपको मारा जा रहा है, दैट वी डू कन्वर्ट, डाई और रन. तो दिस वाज द थिंग गोइंग ऑन इन योर ओन कंट्री, राइट? सो ये सिचुएशन होने के बाद आप, यू कैन इवन इमेजिन, राइट, कि अगर आई थिंक कि मैं कभी नहीं ऐसा चाहता ना आप, हम कोई नहीं चाहता, लाइक वी ऑल नेवर वांट दिस काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन विल एवर हैपन विथ अस. आप कभी चाहते हो कि लाइक दिस द सिचुएशन विल हैपन? So that is what the people who are making the propaganda, because they don't have the emotions, right? This is something, some kind of truth which which this movie reveals. So controversy may other people, if I talk about the controversy part, so it's all about the politics. So just 2 days back only, Arvind Kejriwal was also, giving his statement. He just because he hasn't made tax free this movie yet in Delhi. You can see. So you are the people who are voting, Arvind Kejriwal, and you can see this man hasn't put, tax free this movie. And if I talk about like Sound Ki Aag, 1983, okay, and these two movies were already, tax free in Delhi. So they are playing the politics over this thing. They are just they are not supporting these kind of things. I think like whoever the government is, I think when there is something truth, or when there is something which is good, so that everyone needs to support, right? So right now, like, everyone's supporting this movie, everyone praising this movie, because this, because I tell you one more thing, Atisha. If I talk about ads or advertisement of this movie is also not at that level like we all seen in other movies, right? सो आप देखो जैसे कि हम लोग और मूवीज देखते हैं तो उनके एड शोज आते हैं, उनके काफी टॉक शोज आते हैं, ठीक है. देयर आर लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु डिनाइड to do any kind of talk show for this movie. There are a lot of people who denied for doing any kind of promotion for this movie, but still it's the truth which taking this movie at that level, that mass level. Now
Bro,
I
I have
think
a
like
stat. They have crossed 200 crores, and this is the biggest grossing movie after pandemic of Bollywood.
exactly, that's what I'm saying. There's no any kind of there are a lot of people. So there's no any romance, there is no any action, there is no any drama, and in today's time no one wants to watch this kind of movie, but still people are going just because of the fact, just because of the truth. And they are attaching with their emotions. Their emotions are attached with this movie. They are that's something, a big achievements, right? If there is something, a propaganda would be there in the movie, so why people will go to watch this kind of movie, right? Why people will start telling other people? So I tell you about my opinion. So even I watch this movie and I give out of 10 10 to this movie, because because 2 घंटे में आप सब चीजें नहीं दिखा सकते. Even the condition was more worsened than the what we have seen in the movie. I asked to few of my friends, they told me like, Shom, ये तो कुछ भी condition नहीं है. People at that time लोगों को बुलाया जाता था उनके घरों से, और दे स्टार्ट कि उनसे नारे लगवाए जाते थे कि बोलो कश्मीर, आजाद कश्मीर, दीज काइंड ऑफ स्लोगन्स. ओके. सो उनसे बुलाए जाते थे, उन्हें फोर्सफुली ये चीज को करना पड़ता था. सो दीज काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन अगर आप नहीं करते हो, दे विल किल यू. मिलिटेंट्स आर किलिंग ऑफिसर्स, राइट? सो ये सिचुएशन है. सो मेरा बस यही पॉइंट है कि this is something which is a part of our history, and we all should watch this Kashmir Files. And it's all about forgive but not forget kind of thing. जो मैं कहूँगा कि आप किसी को वो मत करो, but हाँ, आप भूलो भी मत. There's a part of thing, and you should in the coming years, in the coming things, आप चीजें अपने हिसाब से देखो. आप अपना एक ओपिनियन रखो, because the people who are living, you also get to know, Atishay, like how the people brainwash, right?
Totally, bro. Totally. So,
कैसे
bro,
ब्रेन वॉश किया जाता है इन द कश्मीर. या
totally. Bro, this movie seems like very intense, very heavy. So, before we end this, why should people watch this?
why should people watch this? So I tell you, it's all about the history. It's a part of our history. It's a part of of Kashmir, like where all that is something global conflict. Like this is into United Nation. Kashmir is into United Nation just because of a conflict every time, right? So
Bro, sorry, I'm interrupting here. So, I was recently reading an article where the BJP government, the current center government, they have kind of blamed Nehru's government that it is internal matter. Kashmir was an internal matter, right, between two countries, India and Pakistan. But why the hell did Nehru, bring that issue on a global front, right? Why he go to UN to get it resolved? It could be, and should be resolved internally, maybe with dialogue.
exactly.
If not dialogue, maybe with maybe show off muscle power, right? But it should be resolved internally. Now they have created so much of controversy around it, so much of chaos around it, because they have taken the issue to UN. So yeah, sorry,
Mhm.
I interrupted you here, but yeah, that is one piece I was reading, and it has merit in it, right? It should be resolved internally. But yeah, please go on. Oh, sorry, interrupted you.
Yes. So no, that's fine, Atisha. So the whole point is all about, you get to know about the history, the main integral part of Kashmir, how the people have suffered, in those times, right? So this is all about the thing. और किन लोगों को नहीं मूवी देखना चाहिए? Those who cannot see the suffering of other people. If you
Yeah,
cannot see
bro.
the suffering of other people,
I have heard it. It's a
ah,
very intense movie. It's a very, very intense movie. So, for not for weak-hearted people, right? So, yeah, as you mentioned correctly.
yeah.
So, who
So
can't, see the suffering, who can't, who can't even imagine that trauma, right? मत
exactly.
देखना, बहुत intense movie है.
So those people, I think they should avoid this movie. Apart from that, like the one who wants to be, who loves their country, who wants to know the history of our India. And I think everyone, apart from those who cannot see the suffering, because the suffering was at different level, Atish. So that is my whole point, and that's the whole discussion of this Kashmir Files, I would say. And I don't want to being into much controversy of this, because already there are a lot of people who are into controversy of Kashmir Files, and I don't want to be go into that part, right? We have just, this podcast is all about to give the people reviews and my opinions, what exactly I think about this movie, what I think in terms of perspective, what was my history or what was my past. That's all, guys. So if you get a chance, I tell you very honestly, you should watch this movie, and know the facts of Kashmir, what was in 1990s, and how the people, how the Kashmiri pandits, okay, uh, uh, their houses are burned, right? उन्हें कैसे घर से छोड़ना पड़ा, क्या क्या सिनेरियो था उस टाइम पे. And you also get to know, there are a lot of people who don't know much about the importance of Article 370, right? So आपको उसके बारे में थोड़ा पता लगेगा, why we need to revoke the Article 370. So that's all. I don't want to get more into controversy. So that's all. If there is anything, you can comment us. And also one more thing, if there is any other topic you want us to discuss on, Atisha and me, you're most welcome. You can comment on the section. That's it. So Atisha,
Thank you
any
so
other thing
much.
from your side?
No, bro, no, I'm even looking forward. I know you have already watched the movie, but I'm looking forward to watch the movie now after, talking to you. So I believe as an Indian, we should definitely watch this movie. We should learn about, what happened, what kind of genocide happened, in the late 90s. And yeah, as you mentioned, it's an important part of, India's history. So yeah, we should learn about it. We should know about it. So thank you so much,
Yeah.
bro, for telling us all about the movie. And guys, let us know if you have already watched the movie, how you felt about the movie, what were your emotions, and if you know someone who has gone through the suffering, you can also share the experiences. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to this. And yeah, we will be back in another episode next week.